What is up, bros and broettes? You know who it is. Your one and only Maximus Pump, aka Pump Skywalker. And here is a beginner's guide to bodybuilding terminology. I know that when you first start working out, you're going to get thrown into a whole world of fitness terms and words that you may not understand. So here's a quick guide to help you. First off is an isolation exercise. This is an exercise that targets a single muscle group. For example, for the arms, a bicep curl targets the bicep, a tricep extension targets the triceps. For a shoulder lateral raise, that targets the side delts. Now sets, the number of times you can repeat that certain exercise after completion. For example, doing 3 or 4 or 5 total sets of a bicep hammer curl. In this workout, you'll see me do 5 total sets of a bicep hammer curl. Now, a warm-up is performing a light exercise or a series of exercises to help promote blood flow and the warming of the body in order to prepare the body for increase in demands. This can help reduce injuries and provide lubrication for the joints. I always start off with a light weight and I work my way up to my heaviest weight. That way I don't get injured. For reps, the number of times you do an exercise consecutively or continuously, also known as a repetition. So as you can see, the amount of reps I'm doing for each arm: 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's 10 total reps, but 5 reps per arm. The tempo, the speed at which you perform an exercise. You want to be able to control the weight up and slowly lower it down. You don't want the weight to control you. You want to be able to control the weight. So going too heavy, if you can't control it, is not worth it. You want to be able to use a weight that you can control. Failure, reaching a final point where you can no longer physically complete another rep for that exercise because of muscle fatigue. Here I'm going to do as much as I can, and then once I'm totally done and I can't do any more reps, that is failure for me. I might be able to squeeze an extra one out, but I'd rather play it safe. Now, progressive overload, where you gradually increase the resistance or demand on the body. Doing this continuously will help improve either strength, endurance, or muscle mass. Continuing on, progressive overload / mechanical tension, a way to challenge your muscles and nervous system through resistance training by going above and beyond the usual normal capacity, thus making the body adapt more stronger. This just means you don't want to be lifting the same weight over and over again. You want to progressively increase the weight over time. This can be done either by increasing the weight, doing more repetitions, more sets, reducing rest times, or increasing the time and duration of your workout. Keep in mind for your specific goals for progressive overload, doing a 2 to 3 hour workout is not beneficial for muscle growth and may actually make things a lot worse for recovery. A drop set, a strength / intensity technique where you perform an exercise to failure, then immediately reduce the weight and continue on another set of repetitions until failure. Keep repeating this until you're fully fatigued or until you have reached the desired weight to fail at. Now, a drop set is good if you want to build some intensity in your workout. I usually like to do it if I'm kind of like hard pressed for time. If I need to be somewhere and I don't have a lot of time to work out, a drop set is a good way to just help bring up the intensity in your workout. Now, a superset. This is where you perform 2 different exercises back to back with minimal to no rest. So I'm going to do this cable tricep overhead extension, and then I'll move on to another exercise right away, which would be a cable bicep curl. And usually when you superset 2 different muscle groups, but you can't superset 2 of the same muscle group. It just makes things a lot harder if you want to try to progress in weight. But supersetting is great for if you don't have a lot of time to work out. You can get things done a lot quicker with high intensity. Now a tricep where you perform 3 different exercises back to back with minimal to no rest. So for this one, I'm going to do my usual overhead tricep extension, and then I'll do my cable bicep curl, and then I'll finish off with a third exercise. And it usually could be another muscle group, or it could be the same muscle group. So for here, I am going to do a forearm curl, a bicep forearm curl, because I want to target more of the forearms instead of the bicep, but it still hits part of the biceps as well. A PR and a PB, basically the same thing. A PR means personal record and a PB means personal best, where you achieve a new personal best or record in that exercise. So that means in your last workout, let's say you did 135 pounds bench press, and then in the next workout you did 137. That is a new personal record or a personal best. Concentric, a portion of an exercise where the muscle is shortened and contracts. For example, the lifting part of this is the bicep curl. So at the top here, I'm contracting the bicep and it's shortened muscle wise. That is called a concentric. Now for an eccentric, the portion of an exercise where the muscle lengthens under tension. So for example, the lowering portion of this bicep curl. So when I'm lowering down the exercise, it's providing a lot of tension to that, so that way I don't drop the weight. So it's being lengthened under tension. Now a compound exercise, an exercise that works multiple muscle groups at the same time. A chest press is a compound exercise, a squat, and a deadlift. Well, a squat and a deadlift are basically full body workouts, but a chest press equals working your chest, your shoulders, and your tricep. A squat would be the lower body part, the lower half of your body, so your glutes, your hams, your quads, and a deadlift is basically your back and your legs. Now partial reps, performing an exercise with a short range of motion, so a partial range instead of a full range of motion. Now I don't do these very often. Every now and then I like to add them in at the last portion of my workouts. This can be a good intensity technique to help just add some intensity to the workout. They don't necessarily build extra muscle or anything like that, but sometimes you just want to be a meathead and you just want to lift as much weight as possible or try to do as many reps as possible, and you just want to put a lot of tension on that certain muscle. Now a feeler set, much like a warm-up, a feeler set will help determine your performance and weight or rep increase for the upcoming set. So here I'm going to do a set. I'm going to kind of get a feel of if anything's hurting, how much weight I think I could do for the next set. So that's what a feeler set is. Kind of getting a range of how much weight you could add on and determining if there's any type of pain in the shoulders or in the arms or in the chest. That way you can kind of get a general gauge of how much weight you can increase for the next set. Here I think I can do another 3 plates, but you learn this over time. This isn't something you kind of just learn overnight. You kind of get a feel of it every workout that you do. Now RIR, reps in reserve, a gauge of measurement of how many more reps you can or could have done at the end of the set. For here, I'm going to fail at 7, but I know I could have done 10, maybe squeezed out to 11, but I just wanted to conserve some energy, and so I left some reps in reserve for either, if I wanted to, I could do another set and add on more weight, or I just want to just finish that off there, and that way I'll know for next time I could probably squeeze out 10 or 11 reps. For intensity, the degree of effort used during a workout. For example, how much weight was lifted, how close you were to your RIR. If you don't exert a lot of effort during your workout, then you may not see any results. So if you go to the gym consistently, but you're not trying to progress either weekly or monthly in weight or reps, and you're just kind of there on your phone, sitting there, not taking things too seriously, you're probably not going to see any type of real results when it comes to building any muscle. You have to put some sort of effort into your workouts in order to see real growth. AMRAP, as many reps as possible. Performing an exercise until true failure, or as many reps as possible until failure. So for here, I'm going to try to do as many reps as I can before my body just gives out. This can be a good indicator of how many reps you can do for that set for future references. Sometimes you just want to play around too. An static hold is where you maintain a fixed position while engaging a specific muscle group, also known as an isometric hold. And here you can build a lot of tension in the chest or in the arms, but I don't do this very often for most of my exercises, but you can if you want to use it as an intensity technique. ROM, range of motion, where you move the muscle and joint to the fullest extent as possible. So if you watch my form here, A is the beginning position. This is the first part of the exercise. Now a lot of people skip this part. They don't go all the way to the top, which is point A to point B, all the way to the top, full range of motion, flexed elbows, squeezing at the top. A lot of people will kind of stop short or go halfway or do the partial reps, but you only want to do the partial reps after going full range of motion. So that means going from point A to point B, dumbbells touching the chest, all the way to point B, dumbbells almost touching together, elbows flexed, full range of motion. Now, when it comes to cardio, you're going to see two types of different intensity techniques. One is LISS, low intensity, steady state, a type of cardio that is low to moderate intensity that is sustainable, meaning that you can talk and have a conversation and not be out of breath or overexert yourself. Common forms of this is walking, jogging, cycling, swimming, and hiking. You just don't want to be out of breath. When you're doing this, you kind of just want to be able to do it at a nice, easy pace. Now HIIT, high intensity interval training. This involves short bursts of intense exercise followed by a brief period of recovery, then a short burst, then a recovery, and then you rinse and repeat till you're fully finished. This can include jump roping, circuit training, and running. So for the treadmill, you can set it to high incline or moderate incline, but what you want to do is kind of start off slow, a nice walk, a nice pace, and then you want to set the intensity to as high as you can, where you're basically running your ass off. And then before you run out of breath, or as soon as you run out of breath, you want to lower down the intensity, go into a nice walk, catch your breath. As soon as you catch your breath, ramp up the intensity again, start running, and just repeat this over and over again until you're fully exhausted. But yeah, hopefully you guys liked and enjoyed this video. It was a quick pump check, and hopefully you learned something today, and hopefully you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.